The resolution before us today is, be it resolved that Canada reinstate the death penalty. Representing the affirmative side is Jessica Zhang. Representing the negative side are Chloe Zhang and Ellie Ha. On the behalf of YSI Academy, I would like to express a sincere welcome to everyone. I, David Koo, am your moderator. During this debate, each speaker will deliver a constructive speech. Each speaker will also get the opportunity to give a rebuttal. I call upon the affirmative speaker, Jessica Zhang, to introduce the affirmative
In
case.
Toronto, on April 23rd of this year, 8 women and 2 men were savagely killed, and 15 others, mostly female, were seriously injured in a shocking van ramming attack. These murders were premeditated, planned by a young man who was prejudiced against
Those who
women. Claim to be against the death penalty say that it is inhumane and cruel. That is, until one of their loved ones is murdered. I believe that the justice system should treat everyone equally. By this I mean that the penalty should be fit or be equal to the crime. And for Finns, like Robert William Picton, who bragged about murdering 49 women, abusing their bodies, and even feeding them to his pigs. Such people are beyond rehabilitation and deserve the death penalty. Opponents of bringing back the death penalty also argue about its reputation as a benevolent nation. Canada's overly soft and lenient justice system is known to attract violent criminals trying to escape from their countries that have the death penalty. Law-abiding Canadians clearly want the death penalty reinstated in order to ensure their safety and security. So the government should bring it back. Finally, Mr. Moderator, I would like to see capital punishment reinstated, not just because it punishes the vilest criminals by making sure that they will never hurt others. I truly believe it is only just and fair punishment for cold-blooded murderers. As justice expert Dudley Sharp so rightly said, the punishment of murderers should be earned by the pain and suffering they have imposed on their victims. This resolution must therefore stand. Thank you.
And the punishment of crime should fit the crime. But I say, as American Civil Liberties Union so aptly stated, in civilized society, we reject the principle of literally doing to criminals what they did to their victims. Canada can't use such a barbaric way to criminals like what the criminals did to their victims. These people mostly support the death penalty because they think that violent crimes are increasing and they want their government to have stronger and more effective laws and punishments. But this is simply not true. The problem is that media sensationalizes the violent crimes and give people wrong sense that their country is becoming more and more violent. I will go back to my constructive speech. First, Mr. Moderator, the death penalty is the ultimate denial of human rights. The U.S. Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states the basic rights and freedoms to which all human beings are entitled, includes the right to life. As the American Civil Liberties Union so aptly stated, in civilized society, we reject the principle of literally doing to criminals what they did to their victims. The penalty for rape cannot be rape, or for arson, burning down the arsonist's house. We should not, therefore, punish the murderer with death. It is true, when a country has a high crime rate, most citizens want their government to have strong, effective laws and punishments. Recent polls suggest that 62% of Canadians favor a return of the death penalty, because they believe that their country is becoming more violent, and the violent crimes, including homicide, are on the rise. In fact, Statistic Canada reports that the murder rate today is significantly lower than it was in mid-1970s, when Canada abolished the death penalty. However, the media often sensationalizes violent crimes and gives some Canadians the wrong impression that their country is becoming more and more violent. I argued that the death penalty is the ultimate denial of human rights, sends a confusing message about what is right and what is wrong, and that there is no need for Canada to bring back the death penalty, as violent crimes, including homicides, are not on the rise. According to Reprieve, an international organization committed to human rights and justice, 1/3 of all countries still use capital punishment, more commonly known as the death penalty, even though it has never been shown to deter crime. In America, 2,817 people were facing execution in July 2017. Canada abolished the death penalty in 1976. It did the right thing. This is because the death penalty is legalized barbarism. Every form of the death penalty is barbaric and does not belong in a civilized country. There is no such thing as a humane method of putting a person to death. All the punishments make the prisoner suffer greatly. Sometimes they go terribly wrong. For example, needles have been wrongly placed, and in electric chair executions, the convicted person's heads have been known to catch on fire. Planned executions of human beings should not be heard on Canada's justice system. They have no place in Canada. Mr. Moderator, were you aware that since abolition of the death penalty, several Canadian prisoners who had been convicted of first-degree murder were released after being found not guilty? 2 had been in prison for more than 10 years before their innocence was established. If Canada still had the death penalty, these innocent people would have been executed. Canada should therefore try to reform its criminals by educating them, giving treatment and support when they're in prison. Before closing, Mr. Moderator, I would like to reiterate my reasons for opposing the resolution. Like my colleague, I would like to end with the words of John Deere, who said, "The death penalty offers no hope for a nonviolent society. In fact, it reinforces the heart-rending cycle of violence. Thus, Canada should not reinstate the death penalty. This resolution must therefore fall." Thank you.
However, this is simply not true. According to Statistic Canada, Canada's homicide rate has been going up since 2015. My opponent, Ms. Ellie, has said, there is no such thing as an inhuman method of putting a person to death, and that all forms of the capital punishment make the prisoner suffer greatly. Ms. Ha also said that the death penalty does not deter people from committing crime. However, there is strong evidence that it does. As I mentioned in my speech, American law
I thank
professor
the speaker for her rebuttal. The debate is now ended. Thank you, judges, debaters, and audience for your participation.